Hey guys, welcome to today's podcast. Looking forward to jumping into a brand new episode, learning a bit about peer pressure today. Listen in.
Welcome to Everyday Truth with Kurt Skelly. We believe the Bible is true and relevant to everyone, everywhere, every day. If today's conversation is a help to you, take a moment to leave a review or share it with a friend. Thanks for listening. Now, let's join Kurt for today's episode.
Hey guys, first of all, I just want to explain that I am freezing cold. I don't know what it is this time of year, but I'm wearing a coat. My office is in the back of the office wing of our church, and I am always cold. I don't know if it's an age thing or a whatever, but I'm into sweater weather, coat weather, lap blanket weather, fireplace weather. So that's the reason for the coat today. But enough about all that. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1 and look at verse number 10. I promised you last episode that we would talk through this extended story that begins in verse number 10 and goes all the way to the end of the chapter. And it really is a great study on the topic of peer pressure. And remember, Solomon is imparting wisdom to his son, has a great desire that his son would be wise, understanding, would practice the fear of the Lord, would avoid pitfalls, and just has a great love. And love will teach. Remember, the instruction of a father. And here is Solomon pouring out his heart to his own son, and really by extension to all of us. And peer pressure is something that has been a thing from the very beginning. As long as there have been people, there has been peer pressure. And why? Because we tend to be people pleasers, many of us. And we struggle sometimes to stand alone or apart from what the majority wants to do or the way the majority thinks. And Solomon's dealing with that issue proactively in verse number 10. So look at it, Proverbs 1 and verse 10, where he says, "My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not." Okay, so son, here's what's going to happen. You're going to face situations in your life where others, a group, sinners, plural, will entice you. So the word entice means they're going to make what they're doing, their sinful behavior, look attractive. And that may be one of the greatest ploys of the devil, is that he makes sin look attractive. I mean, the cigarette ad on the billboard is never going to be honest. It's not going to advertise that consuming this amount of nicotine is going to give you lung cancer. It's not going to say it's going to yellow your teeth or cause your breathing to be adversely affected. It's going to show some guy on a horse riding into the sunset, or happy young people being cool. And one of the greatest tools of the evil one is just that, to make sin look attractive. That's the nature of temptation. That's the nature of enticement. So when that happens, son, says Solomon, don't say yes. Learn to say no. Condition yourself to say no to sinful enticement. A great parallel passage for your own study would be James chapter 1. It's a great section there, verses 12 through, I want to say like verse 14 or 15, about the nature of what sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Lust, when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. So nothing new under the sun. What was true in Solomon's day 3,000 years ago, what was true in James's day 2,000 years ago, is true in our day, 2025. Look at verse number 11, where Solomon continues this hypothetical sinful, enticing situation. And he says, if they say, come with us. So a big temptation to sin is everybody's doing it. This is a group activity. The power of group think of peer pressure. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood, let us lurk privily or privately for the innocent without cause. So this hypothetical group is very clear about its motivations. They're up to no good. They're willing to take advantage of innocent people. They're willing to gang up, but there is personal benefit in it for them. Verse number 12, let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole as those that go down into the pit. And here's why. Here's why we're going to be so cruel. Here's why we're going to be so deceptive. Here's why we're going to gang up on. Because it says in verse 13, we shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Boy, there's a lot in it for us. Sin is worth it because look at what it brings. And that's always the false advertisement of sin. The false advertisement is always, hey, if you do this, if you come with us, everybody's doing it. Yeah, I know it sounds a bit dark, but look at what we get. And that's always the false promise of sin. Because in sin, do you get what you want? Well, the answer is yes, you do get what you want. In these cases, can you take advantage of people and steal and get a lot of money? Sure. Can you take advantage of somebody morally and get sinful, sensual pleasure? Of course. I mean, you can get what you want in that moment. But the insidious thing about sin and the ironic thing about sin is that in getting what you want, you don't ever entirely want what you got. And that's the great switcheroo, is that in sin, when you get what you want, it never entirely satisfies. It always leaves one empty. There's always something else that has to be pursued. Look at what Solomon says in verse 14. He continues to quote these sinful enticers, and he says, cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. Hey, come on, be part of the gang. Make this decision. Let's all share in the spoil of this plot against others. Well, it's a powerful thing when you're the only voice in the classroom, when you're the only voice at work, when you're the only voice among your peer group. It is lonely to stand for the Lord. We find that throughout the Bible, people standing alone, whether that be Micaiah in 1 Kings 22, whether that be John the Baptist in his ministry, or the Apostle Paul in 2 Timothy chapter 4, or the Lord Jesus himself in the Garden of Gethsemane when they all forsook him and fled. Boy, this is part and parcel to what it means to stand up for Jesus. Would you see verse number 16? For their feet, Solomon now makes a little bit of a commentary on these people to tell his son, let me give you the real nature of these people, what they're really like. And he says, their feet run to evil. Boy, they are quick to do wrong. They are hasty to do evil and to make haste to shed blood. And then it says this, and I love this verse. It takes a little bit of meditation and consideration, but verse number 17, surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. So they are laying a trap unbeknownst to the people whom they're going to trap. And what Solomon says here is a principle, and that is, if we know it's a trap ahead of time, if a bird sees the trap, then it's not going to fall for the trap. So this is a subtle, surreptitious way to take advantage of other people. That's why I'm a big fan of transparency. Teens, it's a big deal not to keep secrets from your parents. It's a big deal not to engage in secrecy or have secret pacts that you make with your friend group. Why? Because it's in those times of secrecy, It's in those secret conversations and those unseen text messages and those fake social media accounts where bad things happen and bad information is shared and bad things are viewed. And we have to be so careful, don't we? Verse 18, they lay wait for their own blood. What a statement. So now Solomon says, but what's really happening? You know, when you are tempted to get in with the crowd, when you're tempted to share in their spoil, when you're tempted to get that short-lived pleasure, when you're tempted to, well, what's really happening? Well, what's really happening is you're not destroying the person that you're taking advantage of. Well, certainly you harm them. Certainly that's true. But the Bible says you are laying in wait for your own blood. This is all going to come back upon you. You are actually creating your own pit that you're going to fall into. They lurk privily for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain. Now, I love how this little subsection ends, because what Solomon says is the motive behind all this evil doing, the motive behind this gang activity, the motive behind taking advantage of innocent people is the motive of greed. They're greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. I'll tell you what, when we're full of ourselves and our goal becomes, how can I get more? How can I be more? How can I get what I want? That motivation of pride, of greed, of covetousness, of self-pleasure and self-love, that motivation causes a world of hurt. And ultimately, it is self-destructive. And so Solomon says, stop, son. Think, son. And don't get in the gang and then make the decision. That's impossible. Don't go down the road and then try to turn back. That's so difficult. No, the best time to deal with peer pressure is at the very beginning. Say no to the very first invitation, and you'll be so glad that you did. So we'll stop there in verse number 19, and we'll continue on with this teaching and this story, really, beginning at verse 20 next episode. So I hope you'll join us for that. Until then, God bless you, my friends.